Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry...
Good morning and welcome to Vlogmas Day 11. Yeah, I got the date right today. Sorry about that yesterday. I don't know where my head was. We had a really beautiful, quiet sunrise this morning. And now I'm on my way to work. It's going to be an interesting commute. There's been some problems at Port Authority, so trains and buses going in and out of Port Authority, well, not trains, but let's just say it's going to be a mess. Supposedly my subway will still run, it'll just skip 42nd Street, so fingers crossed it doesn't take me too long to get to work. All right, have a great day, we'll see you later. I just got home and I thought I'd show you our little ritual. Come here. Come on. Come up here and say hi. Come say hi. Come say hi. Andy. Come on. There you go. Oh, you want a belly rub? Somebody wants a belly rub. Hello. How was your kitty cat day? Tell everybody. Say I had a super swell kitty cat day. Thanks for asking. Thanks for... Oh. No more belly rub? Okay. Oh, you're so pretty. You're so pretty. Are you hungry? Say hello. Are you hungry? Do you want some dinner? Let me take off my coat. Oh, more chin? More rubbing the chin? So I got a few emails asking about some of the art on the wall, so I thought I would share that tonight. I took this in around 1982. I was still in college. I was doing slide work at the time, so this is actually a print from a slide. And the woman down here, she's holding two of those old orange Mickey Mouse bag. Sorry, it's kind of high up on the ceiling. It's kind of hard to hold the camera still. This was us at our wedding in Cancun. Yay. This is the church on the main Zocalo in Valladolid. I took this. There was a 98-degree video filmed in this Zocalo. Give me just one night, una noche. So you can Google that. Maybe I'll put a link below. This is a family friend with Jesus and I, probably about 16 years ago, in a town called Tule, which is just east of Oaxaca. This is the Árbol de Tule. It's the tree, arbolist tree. I'll share a quick story about my grandparents. Back in the late 60s, early 70s, every winter my grandparents on my mother's side would drive from Ohio all the way down into Mexico, up and into the city of Oaxaca. And then they would drive south. Well, I think back then it took a couple hours, to Puerto Escondido. It's right on the ocean. It's known for some of its surfing waves. And one trip they were in this town and they were having trouble. I mean, my grandmother spoke Spanish, but I don't remember what was going on, but she was having a little bit of trouble, you know, getting her point across to her, asking her question. And there was a priest there with a bunch of little boys. And he said, I speak English, can I help you? And they spent some time with him. My grandfather called him Father Perez. He could not pronounce his last name. Technically, we would say Padre Ermengio. Yeah, there we go. And it's not even Perez, it's Perez, technically in Spanish, but you know. But all my childhood, I knew him as Father Perez. And we would talk every year at Christmas. My grandmother would call him and wish him a Merry Christmas. We would always say hello to him. You know, I took 4 years of Spanish in high school. You know, I don't know how well that's translated, but you know, I would try to practice my Spanish. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So every year after that, they would seek him out and say hello, and it turns out he lived in Oaxaca, and he was just down in Puerto Escondido with the boys on a field trip of some sort. And he had his parish church in Oaxaca. So Chuy and I got married in 1999. And his family could not travel here. So we had because Chuy came in on a fiance visa, we had to get married within like 90 days. I see you, I know. He's like, I want to sit on you. What are you doing? You crazy lady. So I got to thinking, I said to Chuy, you know, I still would like to do a wedding in Mexico so that your family can be there. So we had the civil ceremony here in 1999 at City Hall with my mom and a friend. Once then we had the money saved up, we were going to have a wedding in Cancun. And those here in the United States who could afford it and were, you know, wanted to come, you know, we would have a party down there. So as I'm planning and preparing, I said, you know what would be amazing is if Father Perez could marry us. Or, you know, perform the ceremony, because like, technically this wouldn't be legal in Mexico. We would have to, there's paperwork to be filed, blah, 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 but we were not doing the blood test and all that stuff down there. It was just going to be, you know, the religious ceremony. I said, wouldn't that be great if he could do that? I had never met him, and there was a part of me that kind of wanted my grandmother and him to see each other again, because it had been so many years. So we traveled to Oaxaca. We flew in and out of Mexico City. We rented a car and we drove. It's about a 4 or 5 hour drive. It's a beautiful drive through mountains, and we had a great time. And we got into town, and I had his phone number, and you know, we called, and he said, yes, I'm home, here's where I am. Well, he knew we were coming. And we pulled up to his house, and I'm shaking. And I'm like, I'm gonna meet him. How amazing is this? There's like this address on a map, and this man who had so much, you know, a part of my life with stories, hearing about him and all this stuff. And we knocked on there was a big gate out front, and we knocked on the gate, and he came, and it was like, it was really emotional for me. And he brought us inside, and we just spent hours and hours of him telling me stories about my grandma, my grandpa, and it was just truly wonderful. So we asked him, and he said, well, you know, he's in his late 80s at this point, and he's like, if I'm okay, you know, I said we would fly you there, and you know, and take care of your accommodations. And then, you know, we took him out for dinner, and he loves his mezcal. So we just had a lovely couple days. Then we had to travel back to Mexico City and, you know, fly. It was just it wasn't a very, actually no, I think you know, that was right after 9/11, and we were supposed to go down there for a week in DFA, Mexico City, and see friends, go to Oaxaca, meet Father Perez, and then we were going to fly from DFA to Cancun and spend a week there. We had rented a timeshare from owners. So because of 9/11, we were supposed to fly on the 12th, and things got all turned around, and we didn't have enough time. We just had a few days, so we had to get back to Mexico City for our flight. The next year, my grandmother passed away. And I thought, and I talked to my mom about it. And I said, what would you think about taking her ashes to her beloved Mexico? And she agreed. So, like about another 6 months later, we flew back. And we met with Father Perez. And I said, I want to find a place to, to put her ashes. What do you think? And he's like, I said, and I had this old picture. I'll insert it here. I said, where was this taken? And he said, oh, let's go, I'll take you. So we got in the car and we drove and we drove and we drove and we drove. And we ended up going past the birthplace of the first president of Mexico, Benito Juarez. Ooh, ooh, props to Benito. And when we got there, it was very beautiful. It was this lovely valley, but my mom said, it doesn't feel right. So, we came back and he said, can you drop me off, at the church? It's not the same church that he was the priest, the main priest at, but it's like where he would go. It was near his house. And he said, and my mom all of a sudden, she goes, this is beautiful. She said, could we do it here? And he said, I'm gonna have to ask the priest that's here now. So he said, give me a few minutes, and we sat down outside. It was a lovely afternoon, and he came back with this man and introduced everybody. And Father Perez started to tell the story about who she was. And he said, I remember her. He said they would come every winter, right? And I said, yeah, because I remember they always had all these candies and sweets for us kids. And I just thought, how amazing is that? What an amazing world, to have that come full circle. And it just made me so happy that, this man knew my grandmother and my grandfather. And he said, of course, he said, pick any place here in the garden. Sorry. And, so my, Father Perez put on his robes and all of his stuff, and they had a little mass. It was very short, and it was just my mom and Chuy and I and Father Perez and the other priest, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other priest's name. And we had like a little mass outside off to the side of the church, and a few people would walk by like, what's going on? And we had my grandmother in a bag, her ashes, and they both bent down and kissed the bag. And it was just really, really lovely. And I'm saying this and I'm actually happy. I don't mean to be so emotional, but it was just, I don't know. It was a wonderful, it just kind of like a nice holiday, Christmassy, not that feeling. That event wasn't that, but it's just, it's something about like miraculous or something for the holidays. So that's the story of that. But one of the other trips, he took us over here to the Árbol de Tule, which is the whole point of this, and he said, you can't go up to the tree now. It's like 2,000 years old. And they have these containers all around. The tree covers just a huge amount of ground, and they have these containers that collect droppings from the tree to try to see, like, how come it's lived so long and all this stuff. But he said back in years and years ago, he said we would come here and bring our lunch and we would picnic under the tree. So I just have so many amazing memories myself of Mexico, and then Father Perez telling us all these amazing stories, like with my grandparents and stuff, and it was It was really, really wonderful, and I'm so thankful that I thought of that idea. But what a truly wonderful, wonderful event. That, not that, you know, my grandmother died, but, you know, the whole, it was, what a connection. And yeah, so that's the story of the man in the picture with the Árbol de Tule. And the only other two photos are in the bedroom. This was taken just around the corner from the church at Valladolid, and it struck me like the part over here, there were all these seeds in one area and little pebbles, rocks that were pushed into the clay. This was the actual side of the building, and then this was a sign for a sweet shop, you know, that's what that building sold. I love, though, the design, that someone took all that time to push all those little stones into the stucco on the side of the building. And this one is actually what I took this in Cancun. I just like the patterns that were created by the fronds here. I didn't mean that to turn into such an emotional thing, but so that's my story and connection with Mexico, and now I'm married to a Mexican. It's all full circle. It's all good. But that's going to be it for Vlogmas Day 11. I hope you had a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Kō-ōsh.